All right, welcome back to the Break Zone. Again, our live coverage of the Meta Potion Circuit, NorCal event number 1. We've seen some amazing plays so far. A lot of Earth, a lot of different types of plays, but predominantly Earth right now. So it's really interesting to see what type of other decks players are bringing in. So we're going to go ahead and move to our feature table, which is going to actually show Brian and Dylan. Dylan, you just saw in the last match. So let's go ahead and see how they're doing. All right, here we got Brian and Dylan. I believe both players are playing Earth, so this is going to be an interesting match to see what's going on. We'll see who goes first. It looks like they've already done the rolls. Dylan's thinking about whether or not he wants to keep this hand. Looks like Brian's going to keep as well. No, Dylan goes ahead and mulligans. Hopefully he gets a strong hand like he did at the last game. If not, we'll see how he comes out with this one. So, all right, looks like we're about ready to go. Dylan's first act. Let's see what he does. Thank you again for joining us on our stream today. We hope you're enjoying the Meta Potion Circuit NorCal event number 1. We're here at round 3 at the start of the match. Dylan does... And wow, he discards and plays into a guy. Usually a defensive card. I'll bring it up for everyone to take a look at. It's an Opus 1 card, and the bane of almost every ice player that I know. Guy is not able to be doled by opponent summons or abilities. He goes ahead and plays the Anna Cross, making Guy a 9k with Brave. Again, that's going to be kind of difficult to deal with turn 1. Looks like Dylan's again pushing the aggression on the turn 1. This forces opponents into acting to see what they can do. This is really difficult for a lot of opponents to deal with because you want to play your game, right? You want to play your deck strengths and whatnot. You don't want to be forced to do something you don't want to do. Brian goes ahead and pitches 2 cards, Rydia and a Titan, to play a Monk and a Tama. I think he's okay with taking the first point of damage, and it looks like that's what's going to happen. Brian takes 1 point of damage, and Dylan passes his turn. Again, keeping with the the board state as it is, and allowing to draw cards and build up. Let's see what Brian's going to do here. Brian does a lot of Magic, has just started playing Final Fantasy TCG, was not at Nationals, but an overall, strong player. So let's see how he reacts here. He's going to go ahead and pitch 2, a Delita, and what looks like to be a Yang for... Right, and for another Delita. This is going to be okay for Dylan. Because he's going to be able to trade up here with a 9k that costs 5, and his is only costing 4 because of the Anacross. So he's got a couple of things that he can do here. Let's see what he does. It wouldn't be a bad idea here to trade and to play another forward, because you know that Delita is going to be more difficult to take care of later on down the line when Brian isn't forced to block. You can go through and get a point of damage in and race at this point, but you're already up a point of damage, so it still might put him on the defensive here. I feel like the Delita play was purely reactional to getting a forward out to stop Guy. And Dylan plays his own Delita. Now, I think it might be a good idea for... Oh, he passes his turn. Actually would have attacked there and forced Brian into either blocking so that you can have your Delita straight on the field. Brian draws and has nothing else to play, so he passes the turn. Strange. No backup play, no anything. You don't really want to pass your turn without playing anything, unless you're saving that mana for that Monk to trade up, which he can totally do, which might be what he's holding his card for. I would take this opportunity on Dylan's end to build up my backup space while he plays the chicken game. He plays into a Dorgan, which is which is an amazing counter to Delita, and I'll go ahead and show you why Dorgan is such a good counter to Delita. Because of the way Dorgan works, he breaks himself to break another forward. Um, but because Delita forces you to break that forward anyways, that's really a wash, right? So it's really quite the wash. So Brian attacks and Dylan lets it through. I think that's a strong play on Dylan's end. You really don't. Your life isn't all that important right now, so it's okay to take that point of damage if you can get a good board state here. If Brian doesn't play a forward, he's going to be taking some damage. 3 to the tune of 1. So it's going to be. He plays a Yang into an Ursula. Wow. So the Yang into Ursula combo is easily one of the most one of the best things that come out of Opus 3 for Earth. I'll go ahead and bring up either Yang or Ursula for you guys to take a look at, and you'll see why that's such a strong combination of cards, especially for Opus 3. The Yang into the Ursula is really hard to handle. So he pops his Dorgan to kill the. Is great. That's a super efficient play. But right now he's looking at a 9k because Ursula gets buffed when Yang's out, and Yang gets buffed when Ursula's, I believe. I'll go ahead and bring up. I might be wrong on that one. Let me bring up the Yang so you can see how big Yang is with Ursula out. So if you control it, so yeah, he gets 1,000 energy. So he's looking at 2 9Ks. He's gonna. Oh wow, Dylan plays the Veil 4. I'm not sure if that's the best play right now. I would have just traded damage for damage. You're really keeping him out, but right now you're resetting the board state. You're resetting the board state, knowing that he has a Yang Ursula and he's up on the backups trend. So. I'm not quite sure I agree with that because he's going to play the Yang into Ursula again, and now you're looking at 2 9Ks. Unless you have an answer for that, you might have been better off at this point keeping the status quo. Granted, you are saving yourself 2 points of damage, but when you're board wiped, you definitely want to race faster than they do. Racing right now with the Yang Ursula in play is difficult. Because you can play the Yang into the Ursula for free. He plays the Delita, which I'm not quite sure. Delita right now is 10k though, so he can block both of them because of the Anacross. Again, a lot of these Opus 1 backups that buff, they do a lot of work. So he's going to attack with the Ursula, and Brian is going to let it go. Dylan's going to let it go through. He's going to flip over a Yuffie and an Archer. I'm not sure why he didn't block there, but we'll see what he's trying to do. He's obviously keeping into account that Monk. Monk, you can break the Monk to give it 2,000, so he doesn't want to trade because it's going to leave him open. Taking the points of damage now is going to allow him to at least buy some time, but takes another round of that, it's not going to buy him any much more time. He really needs to make an answer. He really needs to have an answer now. To the Yang Ursula combo. He's already behind on damage, and he's lost the board state. Right now, Brian's taking a look at his break zone to see what he can do here. So let's see what happens. I'm interested to see what Dylan's going to do. If he breaks the Yang, he plays the Guy again. So Guy is also a 9k now. So, I would actually force that. I would force that Monk play. That's going to put Brian at a 1 backup. We'll see what he does now. If he plays that backup that he just drew, this might be a moot point. He's going to pitch the thing, and there he goes. Now he's playing his Anacross, so now they're both 10k. That's going to be really hard for Dylan to deal with. He's thinking about he doesn't take the damage, and he takes 2. So that puts Dylan at 5 Um, it's going to be hard to come back from this. He's got 2 more points of damage before it's game, so he needs to deal with that Yang Ursula combo now. Either getting rid of Yang or getting rid of Ursula. I would actually get rid of Ursula so that I'm sorry, I would get rid of Yang so that the next Ursula isn't just played for free. Because if he has, well, he needs to have both in his hand, so either one would be fine right now. In fact, either one's good. I'd probably get rid of the one that has Brave, which is going to be Yang. So, or if you get rid of Ursula, Yang won't have Brave anymore. But I believe he is 10k, so it's going to be really difficult to deal with. You're going to notice a lot of with Earth that their fours get really big. This is what we alluded to earlier, because Earth isn't known to be particularly quick. It is known to be big. But you're noticing 2 Earth players right now going at it, and the game isn't actually slow. They're putting out a lot of quick aggression. So Dylan's going to go ahead and attack with the Guy. Let's see what happens here. Guy is, I believe, 9. And he's going to try to block. Right, he's thinking about whether or not block, right? So, maybe Dylan didn't notice that Yang is actually 10k right now, because he gets both 1,000 from Ursula and from Enacros. His guy just walked right into a Yang, and there's nothing he can do about that. And he's going to play the Hecaton here. Further crippling Dylan's backup line, which doesn't look like he had much of this whole game. This looks like to be a tough situation for Dylan to be in. He really has no answer for this Yang Ursula. The ball comes out, and they're now ginormous. I believe they're 14k each. So he's going to have to block one of them. Otherwise, that's a game. And he has to have an answer on the next turn. So that puts him at 6. And I believe, unless Dylan has an answer for this on this turn, it might be fatal for him at this point. So, and it looks like that's it. I believe that's the game. Brian comes down with the wait, unless it was a bounce. No, that was a passive turn. Let's see what Dylan can do here. He needs an answer. A Shantoto, perhaps. Something to reset the board. Alright, he's going to play into the Barts. Don't know if there's much else he can do here. He's at 6 points of damage. Brian is just going to swing in with everything that he has. He's going to block, and then the Yang, and then that'll be it. And that looks like it's game. So, as you see, Earth right now, Brian was piloting Mono Earth. Earth right now is really, really strong. The whole Yang Ursula combo is insanely quick. Something that that Earth never had before until Opus 3. So playing the Yang into the Ursula for free, the Ursula being free, and then having them both buff each other with either, power or power and brave, all for 4 CP, is really hard to get past, especially when you have an Anacross out. It's going to be really difficult for you to outplay something like that, because the Earth backups, the Earth forwards are so big. And you'll notice with Earth that, especially with Mono Earth, now that they actually have the quickness, and they had the power before, it's really formidable for them to actually deal with to actually deal with that. And I think you're going to see this a lot more. We saw this a lot in Nationals, and we saw a lot of Mono Earth sticking around, being really hard to deal with. And I think it wasn't that case before. Usually monocolors don't tend to last very long because they're inherently dealing with problems that are weaknesses to the color. With Earth, it's speed, right? But this little bit of speed boost that they got in Opus 3 is enough to put Mono Earth back into relevancy. A lot of people are running it. It's strong, it's fast, it's quick, it does a lot. You're going to notice a lot of Earth plays with it that deal with like Gapal to make him even stronger. There's a lot of combat tricks like Monk or Titan that's really going to make your opponent second guess how they're going to deal with it, if they can even answer 16,000 power forwards, So it's interesting to see, especially with Nationals heading over and people getting more into Opus 3. Usually when that happens, you're going to notice a lot of monocolored decks kind of fall to the wayside. We saw a lot of mono fire in Opus 2, and when people start to see how to deal with it, mono fire falls prey to things like Minwu or Vayne. You're going to notice a lot of these decks start to kind of shy down. They're not as popular. But with Opus 3, we're actually seeing a lot of monocolor decks, predominantly mono water and mono earth. And you're going to notice a trend between both of them. They're fast. They're efficient. They get things out for free. They're quick. They go wide. In water's case, mono water, it goes a lot wider than mono earth, but it's shallow. They're not as big. Mono earth has just enough speed to be aggressive, but just enough power to be big enough to pretty much walk over anything else that you have. You throw in things like Delita, and you throw in things like, Anacross and things like that, it's going to be really difficult for your opponents to answer the speed and power. Before, when you're playing against Mono Earth, it was just easier to be aggressive fast because you can get them before they set up. But now that they can set up so quickly, it's really difficult for them to get around it, especially because they're so big, and that's something that we've seen so far. I've seen so far. I mean, we've had 3 matches in our feature table, and all 3 had Earth. All 3 were playing, the same types of cards. So it's interesting to see that a monocolor deck has stuck around. The only monocolor deck that I know that stuck around since Opus 2 has been Mono Lightning, only because it's so quick. And I think for a monocolor deck to really make an impact, it needs to be fast. It needs to be aggressive and efficient. Resource management is a big thing in this game. So when you're able to play cards for free, that's huge. That is absolutely huge, especially in this game. And just like we've seen in this match, that Yang Ursula just by itself won the match. Was enough pressure to put on Dylan to really cause him to play outside of his comfort zone, outside of what he's trying to do with his deck. So that early aggression, that quick efficiency is now becoming a trademark in Earth that it wasn't before. So we hope you enjoyed that match. Go ahead and stay tuned for round 4 before we cut the top 4 cuts. So we'll be here, and thanks for joining us. Again, if you like what we're doing, subscribe to our channel. If you like it, give us a thumbs up. If you don't, thumbs down. If you have any questions or comments, go ahead and leave them down there, and we'll be sure to take a look at it. So stay tuned for round 4, and we'll see you in just a bit.